There are lots of different ways to gather on a Bernina sewing machine. So I'm going to show you a stitch that you can use for gathering, stitch number 12, and it's going to stitch over some cord. Now, this is not the only way to gather. I would recommend checking out the Bernina foot number 16, which is a gathering foot, and also the Bernina ruffler, which is awesome. So we'll link over here into those YouTube videos that we've done if you want to check out those optional feet. But one of the feet that you might take a look at is actually the 3C foot. This is a manual buttonhole foot. So once again, check out here for the manual buttonhole options. But why this foot? This foot has two grooves on the underneath side and this little tiny front hook, we'll call it, or a little toe, extra toe, that's what I'm trying to say, for a cord. So have you ever stitched over a cord and pulled it? That's what we're going to do, but we're going to do it with a special stitch that is guaranteed not to step into this cord, and then it's going to be a double length, so it's going to be really easy to pull. This would be good for fabrics that are extra thick and like a home deck fabric. Of course, the ruffler would be the ideal way to go, but for any reason you have this foot instead, this would be an option. So what I did was I took the cord, divided it in half. So the center point of the cord is going to go over the front toe of the foot. Then stitch number 12, we're going to go ahead and stitch with it. Just a second, here we go. I'm also lining up so the two cords go into the two grooves of the foot. Then that way I don't have to worry about the stitch actually stitching over it. Now, as the default setting of this stitch is fairly close together, I'm going to go ahead and lengthen it out. And as you sew along the edge, what you're going to notice is the cord or the foot is dragging the two lengths of cords through the stitch. So notice how the stitch is. It's going to stitch over to the right, back to the center, and then over to the left and back to the center. So I'm guaranteed not to stitch those cords, making them the perfect kind of shower curtain to pull across here. So let's just go ahead, we'll go down a little bit. Notice that I'm kind of holding in the back, and that's more just so the foot, the fabric doesn't gather up as I go. So of course, however long your fabric is, if you've got 20 inches of fabric, make sure you have more than 40 inches of cord because you're going to double it up and put it over the little toe. But this is just so much easier than doing it the old-fashioned way of doing the two threads and then pulling them and hoping that they don't break. So let's just see how good this cord pulls. So I'm going to hook it off the front little toe, pull it out, and because that is a little hook, I'm guaranteed not to accidentally pull this through and out of what we just stitched. So here we go. So you're just going to pull along the two lengths of cord, and you can gather that up as little or as much as your pattern desires. So of course here you still have to kind of work the fullness to be nice and even. Here, this is working out really well on this little table. Here we go. Yes. Now I have to say I am very partial to the gathering foot that Bernina makes. Great for the lighter weight fabrics, but the ruffler for all weights of fabrics. The lighter weight fabrics and the home deck fabrics making beautiful pleats along the way. But for a cheaper version and to use one of your built-in stitches, check out foot number 3C as an optional buttonhole foot.